Shalom, Kahalo, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Kakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect, Tabernacle of David. The brother Yahshua with a quick lesson. All right, we're going to start at Daniel 12 and 1, and we're going to read some of these different versions to get a little more clear understanding. Let's start with the King James, Daniel 12 and 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. That's the part I'm looking for, right? And at that time shall thy people be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. Let's talk about the elect. But we're talking about this time of trouble, all right? Jacob's trouble. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. So that could be tricky. Let's read it in the NIV. There will be a time of distress, such as has not happened from the beginning of nations until then. All right? Then, NLT, then there will be a time of anguish greater than any since nations first came into existence. All right? So we're looking at that time right now. It has began, right? And it's going to be a crescendo. It's going to start small. It's going to end in absolute chaos. And it has started. Okay? Let's see. That's good enough. All right. So with that, let's get Jeremiah real quick. 30. This is Jeremiah 30 and 7 with the KJV. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. This is saying exactly the same thing. There is no time like the time that we're coming in. What time is it? It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. But he will be saved out of it. That's saying exactly the same thing. All right? Look at that in a different version. How awful that day will be. No other will be like it. It will be a time of trouble for you Israelites. All right? In all history, there has never been such a time of terror. That's pretty plain. All right? Guess what? That day is here. That time of terror is now. Okay? Asymmetric warfare. We're in World War III. Okay? It's not going to be like World War II. All right? It will be a time of trouble for my people Israel. Alas, that day is so great there is none like it. It is a time of distress for Jacob. How awful that day will be. None will be like it. Let's see. That's good enough. All right. So let's take a look at what's going on. All right. So Vladimir, right, moved a piece on the chessboard, and now it's somebody else's turn. It's the opponent, right? The adversary, all right? Now we have to remember who our adversary is, right? And that's Esau. So we're watching these Idumeans, right, playing chess. Ultimately, the target is us, all right? Jacob's trouble. Everybody's going to go through Jacob's trouble, but guess what? The Most High, Jacob's trouble is to judge. It's a time of judgment. All right. And people are going to be, a lot of people's judgment is to be put to death. Right. And the Most High is going to be doing that. All right. And torturing, before you get put to death, putting you in a bad way. So, this is Dabu 7. Let's listen to what he has to say. February 23rd, of which I believe is today. State of emergency declared in Ukraine as major cyber attack. Here's where we're at right now. Okay, this word, cyber attack, takes down multiple government websites. All right. Now, who did this? Did Vladimir do this because he made a chess move the other day and declared the sovereignty of Luhansk and Donetsk? So now it's, or the cyber attack comes as Vladimir makes a move, the beast and the whore, they make a move and put sanctions on Vladimir. That was their move. It's all chess. Now what they're saying is this, right? These major cyber attacks are the Russian hackers that have become so famous in the last few years. Okay. Or is this the whore and the beast doing a false flag? Okay. It doesn't matter. This is what they say is what's going on. See, we're on the outside looking at these Idumeans play chess. What does this mean? State of emergency declared where? In Ukraine, as major cyber attack takes down multiple government websites. Somebody's hiding something. Okay, it doesn't have to be Russia taking down these government websites. It could be the whore and the beast. The point I'm making is this is coming to Babylon. And you Babylonians are going to be shut down. What websites? What internets? What grids? What banks? All right? This is all leading to the Charagma. That's the point. All right, so let's watch this.
This is Dabu 7. We have a state of emergency declared in Ukraine. We have also, on top of the state of emergency, a series of major cyber attacks that they're saying is targeting the Ukrainian parliament, multiple government and foreign ministry websites. They are down. Some are asking the question, is this a precursor to something bigger that's about to happen? We know there's a lot of hostilities around this region. I've dropped other videos on it. We've been talking about Ukraine for a long time, all the way back to the Obama administration, when we broke down Maidan and everything that happened there, how they came in, took all the gold out of the country after an elected government was ran out of the country, and they were ran into Russia. Belarus also leaning on Russia. In these two areas of Donetsk and Luhansk that basically are declaring their independence, they're at the heart of all this right now, around this region of the Donbass. And Russia has troops in the bordering area all over. Now, these big-time cyber attacks are targeting big places, not just banks like we saw the other day. So now it's at another level.
Okay, now you heard what he said. Banks are involved in this. What does that mean? Okay, because the whole thing is a psyop, right? Who's the target? This is called Jacob's trouble, all right? Everybody's going to go through it, and they're trying to restructure. They're trying to get their great reset, right? How are they going to do that? They have to attack the money. They have to change the money from dollars into computer numbers, right? Numbers on a screen, if you will. And then the way to be able to control that will be the charagma. The infrastructure is ready to go, if you will. So now they have to cause some chaos in order to roll that new system into play. All right, so let's finish this.
I feel there's going to be some kind of repercussion to this here on the world stage, and it's going to affect America. Whether it is cyber attacks hitting our banks, our industry, or the lights go out, I don't know, but it's on the table, that's for sure. And it just is highly likely that when there is a big action, there's going to be a counteraction to it. So whether people care or not about Ukraine, I'm telling you and I'm warning you. But it's these types of world stage events that have repercussive strikes on us or someone else. And I think that we would be the top target at this point. By default, by design here on the world stage, it's the way the puppet masters are running it.
Again, who is the target? All right. Jake is the target. Where is the greatest concentration of Jakes? All right. Right here in Babylon. The Most High got us here. Right. The greatest lift, the greatest rescue, right? Beaming up, if you will, is going to take place right here in Babylon. Where are the POWs gathered? Right here. All right. So this is ground zero. What he's saying, he's onto it. All right. Because we're the target.
The downfall of America, if you haven't caught on to it, and Enter the Dragon here on the world stage with China as they send them to the forefront. And in the mix of all this, there's going to be some big time shifting around that could bring this thing down. And when it comes back up online, it could be the North American Union.
Okay, so get ready for lights out. Okay, dark winter, if you will. All right, so that's that's Dabu. Let's look at Mike the Christian and see what he has to say on rethinking the dollar. We're gonna go to 2.
Now that don't know the true long term.
Let's see. Let's take this back to 10, I believe. Close to it. Let's see what Mike the Christian has to say. All right, so this is 21 hours ago, yesterday, would be the 22nd, rethinking the dollar. Sanctions, okay, inflation, and cyber attacks, more volatility to come. Hey, Jacob's trouble. All right, it's going to snowball. It started. We're watching it come in because we're the watchmen. We're letting the people know. All right, let's watch them. Listen to what Mike the Christian has to say. Cyber attack forces, expediters to shut down global operations. See how this is affecting everything? And here's your storage truck. What do they call them? At the docks, these container. This is dealing with the what do they call it? The supply chain. Okay, and I see that this commercial is coming up, but this is dealing with the supply chain. Cyber attack, shutting down global operations, supply chain, food, famine. All of this is playing into Jacob's trouble, which is here. All right. Has it affected you yet? It will. It's going to get bad. See what Mike the Christian is talking about.
And it got no mainstream attention just because I guess the initial
commercial. Slovakia. Bear with me. Back to Mike.
Stories of cyber attacks is something we should all be used to by now because they've done enough warning over the last 6 or 7 months, telling us to expect some type of event. And event by event, they're happening and they're happening more frequently, and they're flying under the radar.
He said they're happening more frequently, all right, as when a woman is in the last month of her pregnancy, the pains slack not a moment. All right, that's what he's saying.
Just to give you an idea as to what's going on, how severe this could be, because this is another supply chain issue in the making, but it's deliberate, to say the least. But it says U.S.-based logistics company. Let me zoom in some so you guys can read it as I'm saying here. U.S.-based logistics company Expeditors International has shut down most of its operations worldwide after suffering a cyber attack over the weekend. It says the company published a brief announcement concerning a global operations downtime after the incident, but it didn't elaborate on the type of the cyber attack. It says Expeditors is currently managing global systems downtime due to targeted cyber attacks. The company released on Sunday night another press release emphasizing that the attack forced them to shut down most operations worldwide for safety reasons. So just to give you an idea, it says Expeditors is a worldwide logistics company with annual gross revenue of approximately $10 billion, 350 locations, and more than 18,000 employees worldwide. The company offers logistics solutions, warehousing, supply chain, transportation, distribution, and compliance.
Can you see what's coming down the pike? Okay. He's also going to go into a lights out situation that could last for months. Okay. Who's ready for that?
And so this looks like a pretty major company in regards to the supply chain and just moving goods and services throughout the world. And they're not the only ones. And so as I go to another article, this shines a little bit more light on it in depth. It gives the same rundown. But then again, there's been a lot of other cyber attacks recently that we haven't heard nothing about or never made the mainstream news. And give an idea, it says earlier this month, Swiss airport management service, Swissport, reported a ransomware attack affecting its IT systems, which were later attributed to the Black Cat ransomware group. It says another cyber attack on 2 German oil suppliers forced energy giant Shell to reroute oil supplies to depots over the last month. And it says here, multiple ports in Belgium and Netherlands reported issues after cyber attacks affected IT services in early February. And it says terminals operated in Sea Tank, oil tanking, Evos in Antwerp and Amsterdam, were all dealing with issues related to operational systems. So there's been multiple cyber events occurring. And it's just interesting how all these events happen to be key infrastructure type of operations that impact the world because
they're shutting this damn thing down. Okay. And what is it going to cause? It's going to cause chaos worldwide, especially right here in Babylon. You talk about Jacob's trouble? Shut down the food, shut off the lights. Okay? What's going to happen? Straight chaos. And they're going to try to bring order out of it. All right?
They're shipping goods around the world, and it looks like it's quite obvious that it's a deliberate plan to halt the real world goods and services from reaching the hands of the consumers, creating much more of that pinch that I think they all want to get underway on top of whatever else is in the pipeline that's coming. And even listening to, I think it was Steve that shared a video. I was actually listening to a video and just hearing more about how more alternative media individuals like Alex Jones is and all those the multi-million community type channels, how they're getting word from their sources, from whoever the sources may be, that there's a power situation probably coming, which could last a few months, and that could be the eye-opening moment for the U.S. to all the things that we're dealing. And so that time frame of the power being off, ain't no telling what could happen in accordance to what they want to throw at us. Because with that time frame, whether it's a couple weeks, couple months, or whatever, a large amount of destruction financially would take place, as well as overall destruction of your average household.
Can you say Jacob's trouble? How is Jake going to manage months without power and food? There's that chaos. All right.
Financial order would take place, leading to desperation, which I always say they want, so that they can come in and sweep the American people off their feet with their solution of a CBDC, UBI, and all the other things, only factored in if you have your digital ID. So,
Charagma. Get it? You shut down everything. You shut down them banks, no money. You shut off the lights. You shut down the food. Line up for this Charagma. You want to make it better? You want to get back to normal? Charagma.
just stuff to keep, on your radar. Anyway, keep moving.
Good enough. All right, so we can end it right there. All right, let's get this. Here's where it's leading. We'll go ahead and close with this. This is Revelation 13, yeah? Let's get it in the KJ and the V. King James was an Israelite. Revelation 13 and 16. Revelation. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a digital ID in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right? Charagma. Right? What do they call it in Obamacare? Implanted device. Okay? And that no man might buy or sell save that he had the digital device or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right? There you have it. What are we to be doing? Patiently waiting. All right? Don't do that. Revelation 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, suffering. You got to suffer through all of this. Jacob's trouble, all of that, right? Without taking no device. I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation is coming, where they're going to force that charagma upon you, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. All right, don't do it. All right, anybody saying that the charagma is not the mark, if you will, you're a false prophet, and you shouldn't be sitting in a throne with balloons and receiving awards. All right. So with that, we hope that the elect were edified, and we'll until the next one, shalom.